Hello everyone. Today's in-depth training topic, we're going to be talking about email options, signatures, and how you can use mail merge fields within emails to make your emails a bit more effective. Within the system, there are two different ways that you can set your email options. There is the email option that is set kind of around system-wide that everyone will pull from, and there's also the ability to set specific email options for just the person that's logged in. We want to start off by going to Setup, System Setup, and then from here, on the left side, the fourth option down should be Email Options. This is where you go to set the email options that are system-wide that the entire system will use, unless you go through and override your own email options. If we edit this record on the right side, there are two main email delivery options. The first option is Outlook. All that does is after you've had the chance to write up your email, make sure that the report looks good, and you're ready to send the email out, what the system will do is it will actually open up Outlook to allow you to finish reviewing the email, and then we'll use Outlook to send the actual email. The other option is Internal. What this does is this allows you to enter in your email information so that way the system itself can actually send out the email and not have to go through another third-party program to actually send the email out. You will have to enter in your email address, your SMTP address, username and password to log into your email server, and all that information, once it's entered, you can send out a test email to make sure it works. You should be able to get this information from the person that runs your email server or the company that runs your email. The next option on this page is a signature. When you set a signature on this page here, this is the signature that everyone will use, again, unless they set their own. If you select down here, you can just type in any type of signature. You can type your company name, you can type your name, your phone number, all of your information that you want to kind of be attached as a signature to any email that you send out can be put here. If you need more information to work on the screen, you can click on the Show Expanded button over here, and that will just give you a bigger block that you can use to maybe modify the font, do some bolding, do some underlining, do some basic formatting to your signature, but it gives you more room to enter that information in. Once you have the information decided that you want to use on the server, you can go ahead and save this, and it will save that information system-wide. Now, if I want to go ahead and modify my own individual email options, so I don't want to use the system's email options. Maybe I have my own email address that I set up, so that way I don't need to use what the system has. What I can do is I can go to Setup, User Options, and then from here, if I click on Email Options on the bottom, I get essentially the same exact screen that we just saw from the system setup. What this does now is I can go ahead and edit this and set my own options that are different from the email options that are pulled from the system setup. So maybe most everyone else wants to use Outlook, but I have my own email address and I can set up my own internal values. I can also set up my own email signature. So if I use my own signature that's different than the system's email signature, I can change that right here. If I ever want to go back to the default options that the system uses, at the bottom of the page I can click on the button that says Reset Values. If I click on that and then I go and save, this will revert the option to pull from the system options instead of the options that I have specified for myself. So now that we kind of understand how to set the email options, now we can take a look at what happens if you try to look at the options when you're going to email out an invoice. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull up a report. So go to Print My Invoice. And what I can do from here is I have a section that is specified under email. When I look under here, I can see that in this case here it has filled in the to field that it's going to be sent to. I can change this to change who it's going to be sent to. Fills in a subject and then a message. One thing to be careful of is what some people like to do is they like to go ahead and type in a message in here and include a signature and then save it as the default. What happens then is if you have a message that is saved as the default on the invoice and also a signature saved in your particular setup, what it will do is it will actually append your signature onto the email's default message. So in that case, then you could potentially end up with two signatures. So you need to be careful when you're setting up a signature that you don't set up the signature as a default option within the email setting of the report that you want to send. Otherwise, you could potentially end up with 2 signatures. So one final thing to talk about here is the section for merge fields. One common misconception that a lot of people have is that the merge field is only applying to the subject line because that's where it appears. What actually happens is I can pull this merge field down and select any option within there and put it into any of these categories just so long as my cursor is in that category. So if I want to change the to field, but I want to use a merge field, I just make sure that my cursor is in the to field, and then I can pull down the merge field and pull down company accounting contact email. If I go ahead and put it in the VCC, I can do the same thing. So I want to BCC the orders contact. So I can do order and then go to contact and then contact email address. So the merge field is not specific to just a subject, it's just where it's placed. As long as your cursor is in the correct section, it'll place the merge field there. The purpose of merge fields is just to make it easier for you to write up a message, for you to make a default email address. All it does is it fills its information in with the correct information based off of the merge field that it is. So if I do a merge field here and I do company and then company name, what that means then is whenever it actually goes to send out the information, that merge field, the company.company name, will be replaced with the company name of the invoice that I have selected. So using merge fields, you can tailor an email message or email options to be a lot more specific to the person you're sending the email to. And there's many different merge fields, so all you need to really do is if you just selected the message, you can just select the merge fields and just look to the different merge field options that you have access to, because there's many different options that you can add for merge fields, so that way you can tailor your email to be however specific or however generic that you want it to be. It's all depending on the merge fields that you use that will determine just the information that will print out on your email. And then once you're ready to send out the email, you make sure you're able to check your message, and you can click on the email option here. And what it will do is it will use the email options for the user that's set up or the system email options if you haven't set up your own. So in this case here, if I click on email, it's going to try to open up Outlook because that is the options that are currently set up in the system. We do not have Outlook on this test system, so I will not get an email, but if I did, that's what would happen. And that is essentially all it takes to go through and turn on the email options, go through, set up your own individual email options, how you can specify your own signature, and then how you can use merge fields to make a more accurate email and a little bit better presented email.